Today on Nova Legends podcast, I have Alexandria City winger, Stanford winger, Dillon Logan, who's Alexandria City Titans are off to an 8-0 start, doing amazing things. This is Dillon's first year playing high school soccer. He's been playing for Alexandria Soccer ASA and I guess MLS Next and doing great things there. Dillon, nice to meet you. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, of course. I'm super happy to be here.
Oh, well, great, man. Well, look, well, first of all, I was reading somewhere online and I couldn't find that article this morning, but I was reading it last week where you weren't always on the top club at Alexandria or something like that. And
Oh yeah.
you kind of worked your way to the top.
Yeah.
What was the key to you doing that? I've found oftentimes some players are technically gifted, but they're not physically grown up enough and it takes a while. And others just, work really hard. But what was your key?
Yeah. So just for a little context, I joined ASA probably my U11 year, I think it was. And like you said, I didn't make the first team the very first time I tried out. I actually made the third team, I believe it was the blue team, and then there was two teams ahead of me. And then yeah, it just took a lot of work. Thankfully I'm naturally gifted, like you said, with my athletics and stuff, but it was kind of the opposite for me where I wasn't really as great on the ball. And so it just took work and training hard. And I worked my way up to the second team and then eventually to the first team where I've been on there ever since. So yeah, just honestly, just working at it. And yeah.
When you got to the first team, was it an adjustment? All of a sudden, you're playing at the highest level, or since it was kind of gradual, your move to the top, it was just kind of the next logical progression.
Yeah, I think the latter is probably more true. It was the ASA has a really cool way of doing it where as I was getting closer and closer to making the first team of my of for that certain age group, I would start training with the first team during practices and things like that, and then playing with my regular team during the weekend. But that really kind of helped me progress to where I could kind of really hit the ground running and just get off to a flying start as soon as I got there. So that really helped. Yeah.
Yeah. Who are the most some of the most important coaches to your development? Now, I remember when my son played. My son played at Alexandria as well. We had a great
Okay.
experience there, and he had some great coaches. But coaches are so important. There are some coaches that just know where you belong. They know how to inspire you. And sometimes it's not every coach is great for every player. Some coaches you just connect with better. They understand the way you play. But how about for you? Who were some of the most important coaches that you had in your
Yeah,
career?
I've been super fortunate to have some absolutely amazing coaches. Started out with Coach Jim in my younger
Hogan?
years, Jim Hogan. Yeah.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, he's a amazing guy. Still keep in touch with him. And I'm actually going to be playing with him this year during the ASA NPSL season.
Oh, great.
The coach, so I'll be there. And then Coach Grigor as well, kind of in
Yes.
my middle years.
Good coach.
Had a lot of success with him. He really both him and Jim were great at really helping me with the fundamentals, like I was saying, those simple technical things like staying and starting a little bit before practice. They would hold these little technical little sessions right before the session. And then as I got older, my next coach was Coach Will Hanna,
Yeah,
who
great coach.
is awesome, and we had
Yeah.
a ton of success with him. I connected with him really well. We made the MLS Cup for the first time in club history with that team. And now I'm with Coach Felipe Furtado from he's just new in his third year here at ASA,
Okay.
who has also just been incredible. And Will and Felipe have both, I would say, like split it into kind of two. Like Jim and Grigor were really helping me with the fundamentals and knowing the game, knowing the kind of upbringing and all that kind of stuff. And then with Will and Felipe, they really helped me develop my like specific skills. Like in Felipe's sessions, we do a lot of 1v1s and things like that, and that has really helped me develop and kind of stand out in those situations. And eventually, if you're standing out, you're going to get noticed by scouts, and those are the types of things that have really helped me, get to where I am. So
Yeah, well, it's amazing. There's not very many players that get to play Division I soccer anymore because of all the foreign players that come in, and with the
right.
transfer portal, there's so many players. So you went from being on the blue team to being a Division I player. When did you start to realize that I might be a Division I soccer player.
So I was I guess it was the sophomore year, like or the end of my sophomore year was the is like June 15th is when coaches can officially start reaching out to you. And this was in my U16 year, right before we went to the MLS Cup with that U16 Coach Will team. And I think it was the day that we were actually flying down there was June 15th. And I woke up and I had a text from the Georgetown head coach, Brian Weiss, incredible guy.
I've interviewed him. He's great. Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome. Him and Coach Connor Clicata are both incredible people. So I had a text from him, and I was like, "Whoa!" Like that was kind of like it took my breath away a little bit, having that moment, and then, uh, just kind of over the course of last year, my U17 year, throughout the fall, and then in the MLS Fest down in Arizona. I had a lot of success there and was fortunate enough to play pretty well. And that's where I got called out by Stanford and they reached out. And that kind of kick-started that whole relationship with them and obviously led to me committing to them. So.
Yeah. Well, so when I was telling you my son was playing for Alexandria, they had just gotten MLS Next since last year. So that system was just coming into to being. There'd been the DA before.
Right.
There's been all these different iterations of like the highest league, and I think soccer has struggled with trying to figure out the best way to develop players and stuff.
Mhm.
As an MLS, you've seen a more mature version of the MLS Next. Is it working, or are
I
players
think it
getting
is.
exposed? Yeah,
I think it really is. Like you said, there's been a lot of different iterations with it, with DA and all that stuff. But I think MLS has done a really good job, not just with these tournaments that you have to qualify for, but with like with MLS Cup and MLS Flex coming up here in May. But having tournaments like MLS Fest in Arizona and California where anyone can go, and it's just like if you go there, there's college coaches at every single field. And it's just a really great opportunity for exposure. Honestly, whether it's at the Division I, two, or three level, all like MLS just does a really good job at giving the players the opportunity to be able to showcase what they can do.
yeah. Well, one thing that was happening, I'd say about 6, 10 years ago, again when my son was playing, was some top players were trying to go to Europe and play in academies, and or there was talk of going MLS, going directly to MLS. Are top players still doing that, or most top level players are they going to college now?
I think the frame is shifting a little bit. I think that more players are going to college than they were. But with that being said, that the kind of pathway to pro that these MLS academies have, like DC United and Philly Union and things like that, they also provide a really great way uh, for their players to start in the academy level, and then whether it's moving up to the MLS Pro team and then eventually making your first team debut for the MLS. I think obviously it's going to be hard to go to Europe straight out of America without having that experience. But we've seen people do it. Kevin has done it, and so there's people that have that's a rare one, but yeah, I think college is definitely making a name for itself. It's kind of established itself as a really high level of playing. It's getting a lot more attention than it used to have. Just watching the national tournament, packed stadium, and so it's good that it's getting a good rep because I think it teaches a lot of good things, not just you get a really great high level of play, but you also get an education. So if soccer for whatever reason doesn't work out, you're able to stay on and have a career after that.
Yeah, it's really interesting because people say a lot of things that you really can't listen to people. But I remember I didn't play soccer. I played basketball and football. And so when my son played, I got to know the soccer world a little bit better. Now I probably know too much. But I remember the first thing people told me is high school soccer was terrible, it was kickball. Turns out that was wrong. I love watching high school soccer. And then they also told me college soccer was terrible. And
Mhm.
And I've learned I love watching college soccer. It's like you mentioned Georgetown,
Yeah.
and I haven't seen Stanford play, but I'm sure they're great. But I love watching those guys play. I love watching the girls Georgetown team play. So people say a lot of things, and I found the domestic soccer scene actually very strong.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
One thing I wanted to mention quickly, to get back to Alexandria MLS Next. One thing you had that was very lucky is that you got to play in Alexandria. You'd have to travel like a DC United to go to practice every day. Like
Yeah.
some players are the Riverside kids that live out here. They some of them played at Bethesda or
Hmm.
they still played Arlington. You're pretty
Yeah.
lucky that you had pretty short drives to practice every day.
I'm extremely fortunate. Our training facility is literally just 15 minutes from my house, and that was just like complete luck. Like you said, I've been there starting in the lower team and from super young age, traveling 5 minutes to go to Simpson to practice. And now I've just been able to stay with them, and I was super fortunate that they got the MLS bid. I think that maybe if they didn't have that bid, that might have changed my attitude of whether or not I wanted to leave clubs. Say if Arlington had gotten the MLS thing, that I might have changed to there maybe if that would have made sense in that time frame. But yeah, I've just got hit the lottery with them being so close to me and growing up here and having such an amazing club for like so close.
Your parents would tell you it wasn't luck; it was all planned, and they had it all figured out. So, what's it like going to Alexandria City? Now, I went to Robinson, and I was class of '84. So when I was in school, TC Williams was an incredible football and basketball school. I can't tell you how good they were in basketball, especially at the time. But no, football, they were number one in the nation the year after I graduated.
Wow.
And when I used to play against them, like I knew I had arrived when I played at TC Williams in basketball. I mean, that's when I know I made it. It was like to me, I was playing in the NBA. That's what it felt like. So we all, and also at the time, Northern Virginia, it wasn't as integrated. So there wasn't as many black families that lived in the western part of the county. So a lot of black students in like Robinson, we were closet TC Williams fans. We didn't when we played them, we tried to beat them, but we weren't playing. We
Right.
always cheered for them.
Right.
I interviewed the Remember the Titans guys on this podcast, and it was such an honor. But anyway, what's it like for you to go to Alexandria City High School?
I think it's awesome. There are definitely some ups and downs to it, but I think that, like you said, with one high school in Alexandria, it really provides a great opportunity to experience just so much variety, and like you have so many people, different people walking the halls. Like I think I saw some statistic that there's over like 100 different languages spoken at our school. And you're just really just exposed to this diversity that I don't think you really can experience anywhere else. And that's been great for me. I've always been around diversity with my soccer team and things like that. But it's just really helped me like be exposed to different cultures and different environments. And I made so many different types of friends from different areas and different backgrounds. And that's just been really great, not just for me on my soccer team, but as a person to be able to experience, different, like I said, different cultures and just get to know different people from different backgrounds.
Yeah, if you're going to play soccer in Alexandria, you may need to speak some Spanish because
Yeah. Yeah.
it's very diverse. So I know you yourself are used to the diversity. Do you find the school cliquey? Do you have like the Latino? You have the black?
Yeah, yeah. In some portions, yeah, but and then you have opportunities like the Alexandria City High School soccer team where everybody's on it. Everybody's there, and then we mesh, and we're all just one group. There's no like different sections. We all just have a great time, and so maybe in school there's some of that. Obviously, you're gonna have that anywhere you go. But I think that with the size of the school, it also provides a lot of opportunities for clubs and things like that, and they do a really great job promoting those. And that also helps, bring people together and kind of eliminate that like clickiness and exclusivity that some people might think would come about with that big of a school.
Yeah. Well, Dylan, Alexandria had a great team last year. I mean, I saw them early in the year. They didn't seem that strong, but by the end of the year, they were magical. Don't know what happened, but I got a feeling they could have used you last year. When did you decide you're going to play high school soccer?
I had been talking with both my club coach and Coach Pete Abed from high school. about it a little bit, and we kind of after I committed, I realized that, or when I had those conversations, they both kind of gave me the thumbs up to go ahead and do it. And it was kind of like the biggest hump to get over was making sure that I am managing my minutes and not overworking, and injury prevention is probably the biggest thing that I'm worried about. So in non-district games, we're rotating players and things like that. And so I think that's really smart from Coach Abed. And yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you haven't gone through like the playoffs are just insane because with the
Mhm.
big crowds and the pressure and stuff. So you haven't gone through that yet at the high school level. That's to come. But so far, what do you think about the high school game? What are your initial thoughts?
It's different. It's a lot different. I know I like it. I like it a lot. Like you said, the crowds that come out, like when we played Lewis, that was a huge crowd and we got a huge result there, and it was awesome to be able to win that one. But yeah, just the crowds, the style of play is different. It's a lot more physical, I would say. It's yeah, the speed of play, the style of play, the physicality. There's a lot of things different about it, but I really like it and I'm having a great time. So
Yeah. How would you describe Coach Peters? It's Coach Nito Peters. Peter, right? Is the coach?
yeah, Coach Pete, yeah.
Coach Pete. How would you describe his coaching style?
So we try to play like I know, like you said, you watched the team last year, in the beginning of the year, and they looked okay. But Coach Pete's kind of philosophy is we want to be at our greatest at the end of the season. So it doesn't like during the first two scrimmages, we were rotating a lot, figuring out like what was working, what wasn't working. I mean, fortunately enough, we've been able to get some wins and go 8-0 for the start of the season. Um, but I think that's all credit to them, all credit to them and my teammates. And just we have a really special chemistry. A lot of us have been playing together. Me and Olvin have been playing together for a really, really long time, and a lot of us went to the same elementary school. So we have this really great ability to kind of know each other and know our mannerisms and what we're going to do on the ball and things like that. And I think all of that is why we're being really successful right now.
Yeah. Have there been some players that surprised you that since you're playing on a high school team, they may have been a lot better than you thought they were? You may never really seen them play. And
Yeah, yeah, for sure. We have a lot of talent on our team. There's a couple kids that I had no idea, like never met them before, and now they're starting, scoring goals. Omar and Ezra and all those guys are really, really putting in great performances, and helping our team out. And like I said, there's times when obviously I'm not going to score every game, but they're able to come in and they're able to make an impact, score a goal, and help us win the game, and that's really, really cool.
yeah. So at the beginning of the season, we talked online about just going ahead and cancel the season and making McLean the state champion because they're just so much better than everybody else.
I don't know, man.
So far, Alexandria City's to me the top team. You guys have deserved it. You've played a tough schedule. You've done everything asked of you guys. I mean, it's going to be it's some amazing showdowns to come. When you look around, do you see a lot of tough competition out there?
I do. I do. Like you said, that McLean team's good. I know they've got a couple kids on there that can do some damage. I think the Lewis result was a big telling for us. Shows that we're not just winning against easy teams. And also against Robinson when we beat them, that was a really close game. I know that was your alma mater, but
Yeah, be
I'm
careful.
sorry about that. um, but yeah, I think that there's definitely some teams out there that can do some damage. I know Lake Braddock has a good team. I know a lot of kids on that team. So we'll see. But then again, I'm confident in us. I think that we can handle anything that's thrown at us.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun to watch, and you guys will definitely be one of the faves. So you decided to go to Stanford, an amazing school. I think it's in the Bay Area, the South Bay Area, right? It's been a while.
Correct. Yeah, just about 30 minutes south of San Francisco.
Yeah. So did you? I know you mentioned the coach had gotten in touch with you, and that was an email you'll probably never forget. I'm sure you haven't. I'm sure you haven't deleted it. Uh,
Nope.
but soccer aside, would you have considered Stanford? Is that the kind of school you'd want to go to?
Yeah, one of the main things, and this is a great point. One of the main things that I thought about when I was making my final decision between schools that I wanted to go to was if I knock on wood, get injured or something happens where I'm not be able to play again. Am I going to be at the school? Am I going to be happy there? Am I going to be happy just being an everyday student, going to class, doing this and that? And with Stanford, that really just was like, absolutely, California, San Francisco, weather's nice and great academics, like I said. So it's just, that was kind of the school where I was like, okay, like I think that, in the event, worst case possible, that happens, then I'm going to be able to still have a good, fun and productive experience at that school.
Yeah, it's an amazing school. Have you decided what you're going to major in?
I have like tentatively, I believe it's called, so they don't have a business undergraduate degree, which is kind of the field that I wanted to go into. But when I was out there for one of my visits, I was talking to some of the current players on their team, and they said that, yeah, we were kind of wanting to do the same thing, go into business kind of world. And so they have this degree there called Science, Technology, and Society, which is, from what I've heard, is kind of like the equivalent or as close as you can get to a business degree. You take some business classes and things like that, and that can kind of send you in the right direction to hopefully get your MBA, your graduate's degree in business. And so that's what I think I'm going to do for now. Obviously, that can change, and people change their majors all the time. But if I had to say something for right now, that would probably be it.
Yeah, it's so interesting they don't have a business degree.
Mhm.
I'm not one to give other people's kids advice, but I always felt like, you're going to get an MBA anyway. You really don't need that major in business undergrad.
Mhm.
I've
Yeah.
always, my son's economics major at UVA, and that to me, I preferred that because I think you have more fun in college. You get to take more different types of classes, whereas in business, you're kind of all in.
Yeah, for
I've
sure.
always, yeah, business is kind of a trade school. And look,
Mhm.
it's great. You can make a lot of money right out of school. So I'm not criticizing anybody who does it, but I've always felt like you didn't really need to do that undergrad. So it's interesting that
Yeah.
Stanford doesn't offer that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's the reason why. Maybe they are like, hey, if you're getting your MBA anyways, just take it off the list and do it after school. And they offer a lot of different degrees and stuff. So, like I said, it's that's the one I've honed in on currently. First step, but once I get there, anything can happen. So,
Yeah, yeah, you can see what you like. When you come from Stanford, you'll have options. You can do what the heck you want to do. So Jeremy Gunn is the coach at
mhm.
Stanford. He's won a national title. I guess they call it the College Cup. So
Yep.
obviously, you're playing for a great coach. How would you describe Stanford's playing style?
I think they're very direct. They like to kind of suffocate their opponents, for what I've heard and what I've seen. They are high pressing, high energy, and a lot of their philosophy is on just kind of completely dominating in every field. Just kind of laying down the hammer from the first whistle and getting the opponent on their heels and just dominating the not letting them breathe figuratively, So
Yeah. So what are your personal goals? I know you're still in high school and you're still wrapping up things here, but when you think about college, what are some of your goals for your first year in terms of playing soccer?
yeah, I mean, obviously Stanford's an incredible program and they have a hell of a squad right now. But I think for me personally, just making an impact whenever I can as soon as possible. So a lot of that is preparing right, leading up into preseason coming this summer. I'm gonna be training a lot on my own, doing fitness, and just making sure that I'm in the best physical and mental condition to where when I get there, I'm able to, hit the ground running, and, make an impact as soon as possible, whether that's in, the first game of the season or whether that's in December when we're playing the College Cup final. It's just being able to do whatever they need whenever they need it. And yeah.
Yeah. Well, stupid question time. You ever think about, one day trying to be a professional soccer player?
Yeah, I mean it's the goal for everybody. Stanford has been sending a lot of kids to the MLS. They've gotten a lot of kids drafted, and so it's always a possibility. And it's something that I'm definitely working forward to. Having that long term goal makes all the short term goals a lot easier to see out. And yeah, just like I said, making an impact, and then obviously later on getting drafted would be my ideal scenario. So
Well, look, would you ever want to get into coaching? And if so, what kind of coach would Coach Logan be?
Let's see. I don't know. I guess yeah, I mean I would consider coaching for sure. If the time came to that and that was like my what was the greatest opportunity for me in that moment. Type of coach I would be. Just win the winning coach. That's all I can say, man. Is I'll do whatever it takes to win.
It
So
doesn't have to be beautiful the way.
doesn't have to be beautiful. Ball goes in the net, score more goals than we concede. That's my philosophy.
Yeah, that's great. Well, look, Dylan, this has been great, man. I'm so glad I met you. I promise you, I'll get to at least a few of your games this year.
Yeah.
I live out near Leesburg now, so you're in the southern part of the county. It's like an hour
Yeah.
and 10 minutes to get
Yeah.
there. But as soon as you guys come to Rock, well, you've been to Ross. As soon as you guys come westerly, I'll
Yeah.
make sure I get to you. Like, and I won't miss the knockout games. Those
Yeah,
are
for sure.
soccer. A high school knockout is just insane in
It's
terms of
awesome. Yeah.
the energy. So I'll definitely look forward to watching you play and good luck to the Titans.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. It's been great. Take care.
Yeah.
All right,
Bye-bye.
buddy.